This is the tension I need us to be able to wrestle with this morning. I am valuable, but I am damaged. This is the tension. Because I know God thinks I'm his masterpiece, created a brand new in Christ Jesus. Glory to God. But every time I get mad, I still want to cuss. Oh, y'all gonna be fake? You was in traffic this morning saying some stuff. You better quit it. I am the righteousness of Jesus Christ, but I still get mad at my kids. Okay. Oh, God. I gotta go back home because this section is acting bougie. I'll do anything for you, Lord, except give up the cake. Your sin is not lust, it's gluttony. Okay, can we be real? Does anybody that loves Jesus still have some I still? I still deal with comparison. I still look at what I've done and disqualify myself from what God wants to do. Somebody say, I still. This is the tension of being called by God. Is that I know I'm valuable, but I still have some things that God's healing on the inside of me. And what the enemy would try to convince you is that you are too damaged to be able to do what God said because you still have some areas that God is working on you. For all the perfect people, raise your hand. Because the only person that would be perfect on this earth is Jesus. And if you're waiting for everything to be perfect before you start doing what God's called you to do, you're gonna be waiting forever. God is saying to us right now, would you bring me your damage? This is the journey I've been on for the past 4 years. I was here 5 years ago. Since then, I've learned I'm damaged. And if I just sit in that, I get defeated. But if I bring my damage to the only one who can handle it, he will turn my damage into something that pushes me to, everybody say destiny. Okay, so today I'm gonna title this message, I'm about to preach to you in the next 15 minutes. I don't know why I started jumping like Tigger, but I'm telling you, I'm gonna preach a message, and this is what we're gonna title it. What does God do with damage? What does God do with damage? The first thing I want to tell you that God does with damage, I'm going to use this Old Testament character that a lot of people don't talk about because simply they can't say his name. His name is Mephibosheth. I know. I don't know what his parents was thinking. But there are a lot of Davids around here and a lot of Phillips. Ain't a lot of Mephibosheths in 2023. This young man named Mephibosheth was in line to be the king of the entire country. But I need to set a little backstory so you understand where Mephibosheth's damage came from, okay? So I'm about to show you some pictures because I like to make stories come alive in the Bible. This is by no means biblically accurate because the church folks. But I'm gonna just try to make it come alive. There was a king named Saul. Could you put him on the screen? In my mind, in the movie of my mind, this is what Saul looks like. And he once was anointed by God. But he stopped obeying the commands of God. He wanted the position, but he did not want to follow in obedience. Be careful when you're walking in a position and you stop obeying. God took his hand off of his life and he had to raise up another king, okay? We're just gonna walk through this. But then Saul had a son named Jonathan. This in my mind is what Jonathan looked like. This was Jonathan, okay? Ladies, calm down. That's just you laughing too hard over there. That's just Idris. But in my mind, this is what Jonathan looked like. And Jonathan was Saul's son. He was in line to be the heir of the throne. But when daddy disobeyed, it took away the son's inheritance. The reason we got to deal with our damage is because what's not transformed is transferred. The reason we got to go to counseling and we believe in theology and therapy, I'm going to just pray about it. You need to pray about it and go to a practice. You need to get in an e-group and community, and you need to go to counseling. You need to worship and do the hard work. That's what some of y'all came for right there. But Jonathan now has a son, and his son's name is Mephibosheth. Okay? So Mephibosheth is crippled. And I'm gonna show you a picture of what Mephibosheth looks like in my mind, okay? So it's Saul, it's Jonathan, and it's Mephibosheth, okay? Now watch, somebody's like, is that my brother? I saw you, I know him. There was one more character in this story. His name was King David. And this is what King David looked like in the movie of my mind right now, okay? King David, put him on the screen for me real quick. I don't know, it's just strong, like, okay. Now that everybody has this movie in their head, this sets the story for where we find King David after Mephibosheth is now in a place where he's been damaged. Watch this, 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 3. One day David asked, he's king now, is there anyone in Saul's family still alive? Anyone to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake? Because Jonathan and David were boys. Ziba replied, yes, one of Jonathan's sons is still alive. He is crippled in both feet though. Where is he? The king asked. In Lodabar, Ziba told him, at the home of Makir, son of Ammiel. So David, watch this, sent for him and brought him from Makir's home. Now I want to point out the hater in this story. His name is Ziba. And Ziba has the ear of the king. The king asks, is there anybody left that I can show kindness to? And he says, yeah. And does not say his name, he says his condition. Be careful when people describe you by your condition and not your name. He said there's somebody left, but he's crippled. There's somebody left, but they're a liar. There's somebody left, but they're not faithful. And the reason that this young man was crippled, Mephibosheth, was not his own fault. And that's why I want to let you know, you have to make sure you don't allow people to make your issue your identity. No, hear me. You did it. You are not it. Can we be honest? Some of us have done some dumb things. But do not let your issue or anybody else make your issue your identity. And he tries to describe him. And the truth of the matter is, like most of us, Mephibosheth was damaged not because of his own fault. When I think about most of the places in my life, I'm gonna just be real about me, that I got damaged, most of it happened before I was a teenager. The insecurity did not start when I was 28. It started at 12. See how quiet it is? That drive to go and perform and excel, that's because they didn't see you unless you got a trophy. So at 6 years old, you knew you couldn't just say what you needed. You needed to prove you were worth them looking at you. The greatest time to kill a king is when it's a kid. The reason the enemy's been after you since you were a young child is because there is a king in you. Woo. And the greatest time to kill a king is when it's a kid. It's what they tried to do to Moses. Kill every child under the age of 2. That's what they tried to do to Jesus. And some of us have been dealing with our damage since we were young. and this is what I need you to know. You are so special. You've always been a threat to the devil. No, hear what I'm just saying. The attack on your life from a young age has been because if you ever walk fully in the dominion that God has given you, if you ever were fully free from the insecurity, well, I can't do that, and I'm not like them. And if you ever just said, but he is with me. And if he is with me, whoo. Everybody say, whoo. I like that. Who can be against me? 2 Samuel chapter 4, I gotta move. Saul's son Jonathan had a son named Mephibosheth who was crippled. I'm gonna show you where his damage happened. He was 5 years old when he got damaged. And the report came from Jezreel that Saul and Jonathan had been killed in battle. When the child's nurse heard the news, she picked him up and fled. But as she hurried away, she dropped him and he became crippled. What happens when the person who was supposed to care for you damages you? I'm not gonna get too much in your business, but some of your issues is your mama. And some of your issues is your daddy, and some of your issues, it's the people who are supposed to care for you. They drop you. I'm about to deal with it. Because the damage is no longer gonna define us. I feel the presence of God already. If there's anybody that feels like your damage is too big for God, let me just run a list down for you of people that God used who were damaged. Noah was a drunk. Abraham was too old. Isaac was a daydreamer and a wanderer. Jacob was a liar. Leah was ugly. Moses was a murderer with a stutter. Gideon was afraid. Samson was a flirt. Let's be real politically correct. Rahab was a prostitute. David was an adulterer and a murderer. Elijah was suicidal. Isaiah preached naked. Jonah ran away from God. Job went bankrupt and lost everything. John the Baptist ate bugs. That's just weird. Peter denied Jesus. The disciples fell asleep while Jesus was praying. The Samaritan woman was divorced 5 times and had a sex addiction. Zacchaeus was too small and stole money. Paul was too righteous. Timothy had an ulcer. Lazarus was dead, and Michael was addicted to pornography. And my God still used all of us. You about to make me run. Because there's some people that know that God can do his best work with damaged people. If you believe it, give God a shout of praise. I feel my help coming on. Write it down in a point. God does his best work with damaged people. Because his strength is made perfect in our. So why won't you show him your weakness? Been trying to keep it together for everybody, and God says, if you want to hold it up, do it. I'll be here when you want to actually come clean.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching Elevation Plus. We consider you part of our eFam, which is our online family.
That's right, so make sure you are liking, subscribing, sharing Elevation Plus, and come back here so you can find out more about great stories, great creative elements, and also join us every week for Coffee Fam.
That's right.